Is it recording? Welcome to CoJo's Math. I got to make sure I'm on. Yes, I am. Okay, so we're back to the book after our Excel project. So today we're going to talk about the percent equation. And what we've been doing the last week is we've been finding the percent of a number. And we did it a couple of different ways. We said 44% of 300, and I really encouraged you to say, what's 1% of 300, which is 3, and then multiply that by 44 to get the percent of the number. But the thing is, sometimes it's more complicated. The word problems and also the way that the problem is presented to you, which I'm going to get into in a second, it's a little bit more confusing. And that's where the proportions come in that we learned back a couple of chapters ago. And remember what we do with proportions? If we have x to 6 equals 10 to 15, cross products, we multiply cross, we draw x times 15 is 15x equals, multiply numerator denominator, 6 times 10, we get 60. Now remember I made you show this step, dividing both sides by 15. So 15's cancel, x equals 4. That's a proportion. Well, with percents and finding the percent of a number or a percent representing two numbers, we're going to use the percent equation. And this is the percent equation, and we're going to treat it like a proportion. It's A to B equals P over 100. P being percent. It's the number that's percent, and it's always written over 100. Okay? That's the percent equation. A to B equals P over 100. Oh my goodness, that's so confusing to remember. But there's an easier way to remember it, as I'm going to show you. Let's put this down here. When you say A to B, or A over B equals P over 100, a way to remember it is over of equals percent over 100. Is over of. So a part over the total, a part of the total. Is part of the total. So you have to find the number that represents 100%. So we're going to go back to the one where we said 44% of 300, and I'm going to show you how to use the percent equation. What is 44% of 300? Well, A over B is over of. Is over of. So you identify the numbers that are is over of. Here. Of 300. We set up our percent equation. We're always going to have 100 on the bottom right because that's the percent out of 100. The next thing you do is you look to see, does any of these numbers have a percent sign? Yes, 44%. Whatever number has the percent sign always goes over the 100 because that is the percent over 100. So that's an easy thing. You look for the percent sign. That percent always goes over 100 because it's 44%. 44 over 100. The hard part is figuring out which one is the X. Is it the is or the of? We've used this number and we've used 100, so we're left with 300. We're always going to have a missing part that'll be the variable. So the 300, what is? They're talking about what number is. That's the missing part. 44% of 300. You start to get this? Of 300. Where does the 300 go? That's right. It goes in the bottom of the percent of the left side where the of is, or the B. Is over of. So what is the is? We've got to find it. That's the variable. I'm going to put an X. Now we use proportions, which you know, and I'm going to let you use a calculator on these. Woohoo! So you have to show your work. If you know it, you can do it. So I have 100 times x is 100x equals, and then I have 4. Now if you multiply on the calculator, you got to show it. If you know it in your head, you don't have to. So 44 times 300. Let me repeat that. If you have to use a calculator to multiply the cross products, you have got to show what you multiply 44 times 300. If you know it, you don't have to do it. So that becomes, we divide both sides by 100. Remember I told you that was coming? And the two zeros cancel out, and we get x equals 132. So, what number is 44% of 300? 132. Let's do another one. 9% of what number is 54? Well, we immediately write the two, all the four missing parts, but we know one is 100, the bottom right. We look to see if any of these numbers have a percent sign. Circle your numbers. 9%. Where does the 9% go? Yes, over the 100. And we drop the 9%, the percent sign, because we don't need it because it's over 100. We know we're talking about 9%. Okay. Now, this is tricky. 9% of what number? Do we know what number it is? No. But we know it is 54. What's our formula for percent equation? Is over of equals P over 100. Is the part. So 54 is the part and X is the of. That's the missing part. So the X represents the 100% of the number we're trying to find. That's the bigger number in this case. We use cross products and you'd write it underneath. I don't have enough room here. And we'd have 5,400. See, I don't need to write 54 times 100 because I know what 54 times 100 is. I can write 5,400X, right? 5,400, not 5,400X. I can write that. Now I go 9 times X. I don't have to write 54 times 100 because I didn't use the calculator. Now I divide both sides by 9. And X equals, well, it's going to fall, isn't it? Woo, caught that. X equals, well, how many times does 9 go into 54? 6. So it's 600 times. So X equals 600. Now let's look at this one. What percent of 120 is 210? This one's a little trickier. So we're going to do this. I'm going to do this one up here in the upper right. Okay, I'm going to do that one up here. So I fill in my percent equation, right? And I'm going to put 100. The difference is, look at this. What percent of 120 is 210? I don't have the percent number. I have a percent sign, but I don't have the percent number. So the percent is the missing part. So I have P over 100. P is missing. Of 120 is 210. You might think 210 goes in the bottom, but it doesn't because it says 210. So this is going to be a large percent. So 210 is, and one of 120, because it's is over of. Okay, now I do cross products, and I get 210 times 100, which is going to be 21,000, equals 120p. I'm going to divide both sides by 120. That cancels, and I go 21,000 divided by 120, and it's P equals 175. You can't stop there because this is a percent, so you have to put the percent sign because that's what you're looking for. Okay? This is nothing new. This should be nothing new. The only thing different is the is over of. Now, so what I want you to do is I want you to pause the video, and I want you to do these 3 problems. Okay, pause the video. When you get them done, show the work using the percent equation, is over of equals P over 100. Show the work using proportions. Start the video when you have done it. Welcome back. Let's see how you did. Notice 40%, you have a percent there, so that's going to be 40 over 100. 80%, that's going to be 80 over 100. There's a missing percent here, so the percent has a P in the third problem. 36 is of what number? So that should be 36, and that's an X. What number is, so the X is, and see, I hope you're starting to get the pattern. Well, let's see how you did. Check your work. Pause the video. On the first one, you should have X equals 90. It's not a percent. 36 to X equals 40 over 100. In the second one, X is 60. X over 75 equals 80 over 100. And in the last one, we were finding percent. So it's 45 over 80 equals P over 100. 45 is the part is, and 80 is the of. It's the 100% number, and the answer is 56.25%. You have to put that percent sign in there, or 56.25%. Now, word problems. Word problems are wonderful for these percent equations. Let's look at this. I'm not going to work these. You're going to finish these for homework. We're going to set them up together, and then you're going to do the work and bring the answers in tomorrow. So of 625 students in the answers survey, whoa, that's a total. So we have the total. We know we have 100. We use the percent equation, that's percent. 68% were girls. Well, 68 goes automatically over the 100. See how we're filling it in? The only thing, how many were girls? You have to determine if this goes on the top of the numerator, is that the is or the of? Look for the word. Of. 625 goes on the bottom, and X goes in the numerator, because I want to know how many were girls. Out of 68% were girls, out of 625. And yes, you have to use the percent equation. You can do it the other way, but you have to use the percent equation. You have to show me that you've mastered it. All right, look at this one. A person ate 2,500 calories a day. That's a total. So we're going to have equals, we have 100. Of these, 30% came from fat calories. Where does the 30% go immediately? Right, over the 100. Now you need to do how many calories were from fat. You only want a partial. You had a total of 2,500 calories, and 30% of them were fat. You want to know how many calories were fat that you ate during the day. So you need to find the part. The 2,500 goes in the denominator, and X is in the numerator. I want you to finish these two problems using cross products property. When you come, you can use a calculator, but you know how to show your work. I will see you tomorrow. Bring one question and two things that you learn, and have a great evening. Be good. Bye.